Okay, so should we start? Okay, we just recently entered the era of AutoMLs. These are machine learning algorithms that, given enough computing power, can learn to design other machine learning algorithms. Or in buzzword terms, this is an AI that creates AI, and it's already demonstrated to outperform human researchers. Such a perpetually advancing AI might increase inequality and even become an existential threat to our civilization if it's developed by centralized entities with centralized interests that have a high risk of becoming a single point of failure. Okay, so we need to ensure that this new technology is built and deployed in a distributed and open way for the good of all humanity. That's why our team is on a mission to build ScyNet, a blockchain-enabled open infrastructure for self-improving AI agents. These agents can specialize in simple tasks, or they can use each other to solve more complex problems. ScyNet is a decentralized network of AutoML nodes that are running open-source software and collaborating through a blockchain protocol with zero-knowledge proof validation mechanism for verifying agents' performance. The ScyNet's utility token economy incentivizes the nodes to invest computing power and provide data for training AI agents, and then it allows algorithmic clients to discover these agents and to hire them. The computing power for the network comes from miner nodes, the same miner nodes that are mining Ethereum, for example. And currently, about 35 exaflops, or about 35 human brains of computing power, are mining Ethereum alone. But with the adoption of proof-of-stake consensus, it's likely that a lot of these miners will be looking to switch to a useful proof-of-work networks like ScyNet to utilize their resources and make profit. While a wide range of classification, regression, and reinforcement learning applications will be available and emerge once the network is operational, we need to choose something for the first use case of the network that's immediately applicable and profitable enough to pay for the computing power invested. That's why we'll bootstrap the network on the domain of algorithmic trading of crypto assets, which indicates to be an exponentially growing market. We have already published a paper showing our results in predicting crypto assets price based on blockchain transaction data, which was awarded to several science fair competitions, including Intel ICEF. We have also another paper that describes the ScyNet's architecture and protocol, and we just recently achieved a major milestone with running a working testnet demo. The ScyNet project is developed by the Comrade Cooperative, a cooperatively owned decentralized autonomous organization established in 2017, which have already raised €400,000 from, including
Time is up.
Okay, including investments and grants from 2 other major blockchain projects, including.
Excuse me, is my mic working, please?
Yeah, including Eternity and Aragon.
Judges.
Thank you.
Usual question, are you raising and how much?
Yes, we are a cooperative, which means we are not a company, which means we are not a, we don't have equity, but we are planning a token distribution event probably around the autumn this year. And we currently have funding in the form of debt funding from several investors, including Eternity and Aragon. Other questions?
How are you going to make sure that you're actually fighting the bias that you are implying that's happening by corporate companies? And how can you make sure that whatever is being stored on your system and generated is actually understandable and feasible to process to understand?
Yes, so we're building a distributed and decentralized system over which we don't have a lot of control, we just have the protocol. And what we are finding is not the bias of the big companies, we are fighting the fact that they are a single point of failure. So they can get censored or down or things like that. But the idea is that we have this validation protocol, zero-knowledge proof validation protocol, in which independent validators of the network are validating the performance of the agents. And these validators, they can embed different mechanisms for fighting biases and so on.
Neural network design is still mostly human-centered.
Yes.
And you are aiming to automate it through an evolutionary approach. Can you illustrate the validation of the approach with more than algorithmic trading?
Yes, so basically Google showed in 2017 that given enough computer power, namely 10 exaflops of computing, they can produce better results on the Cypher 10 dataset compared to the best human researchers this year. And of course, this applies only when you're recognizing images. Let's say if you want to build a transformer network, it's still a human task, but still, for simple tasks, right now, AutoMLs are beating it. We have AutoKeras, we have AdaNet, we have Transmograph. These are all kinds of AutoMLs that are getting open sourced right now.
Apart from storing the results on the blockchain, are you using it for anything else?
We are not storing anything on the blockchain. We are actually using Tendermint and the Cosmos network just for coordination between the nodes, but the nodes are kind of independent, like they have peer-to-peer communication off-chain for actually transferring the data and so on.
So where is the use of blockchain?
The blockchain is for the protocol, for the rules, because we have these tournaments that are used to validate the agent's performance, and we use the blockchain for coordinating the tournaments and the rest of the protocol.
Isn't that too slow for AI?
No, the protocol is actually pretty good because, as I said, we are having a Tendermint consensus, so we have our separate blockchain. That's only for ScyNet. We are not sharing blockchain with someone else.
Time is up. Thank you. Round of applause, please, for Tudor from ScyNet.